Subrogation and why you should care. Today on the Landlord Coach Daily Show, let's drop the needle.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Hey everybody, it's Mark Dolfini, Landlord Coach and host of the Landlord Coach Daily Show. It's so good to see you. Thanks for joining me today. This is a question I got from somebody a while back, and I actually forgot about it until I was going through my list today. And Kiara was helping me remind me what we decided to discuss on the calendar. And today is subrogation. And what in God's name does that even mean? So subrogation, it is in the context of renter's insurance and why it's a really good idea for you to require your renters to have renter's insurance, right? For lots of good reasons. And sometimes people don't even recognize that they can get insured for their personal contents if, God forbid, something should happen to your building, right? Because your building does not cover their contents. That may seem obvious to you, but it may not be obvious to someone who's been a renter, maybe, or new renter, or just is in the rental game for even if they've been in the rental business, or if they've been a renter for a little while, they may not realize that. So subrogation is today's topic. So I'm not going to get this exactly right. I'm not an insurance person, so you should definitely talk about this to someone who is way smarter than me, which is not going to be hard, but definitely smarter than me in the insurance, who's in the insurance business. So if you know somebody who's in your local market that's in property and casualty insurance specifically, we're talking about subrogation. And why that's important is to get people who are renters to get their own renter's insurance. And it's a really good idea to require that and put that in your lease so people are going to get, so they know that that's an expectation. Why is that important for you, though? Why would you want them to have renter's insurance? Well, there's a couple of really good reasons. Number one, a lot of times, let's just say for argument's sake that something really bad happens and your rental unit is uninhabitable. Let's say it's a fire, flood, something, tornado, something makes the property completely uninhabitable, okay? Which doesn't take much often, right? I mean, sometimes it doesn't take very much. Well, a lot of times it will help cover them, and depending on the policy, it will help cover them for loss of use, which means that if they can't live in that property for whatever reason, that they will get covered for loss of use. So they can get put up in, a hotel, or they'll make other, they'll get money basically for not being able to use their, your property. Okay. That's one reason. The other reason is that they're not going to have potentially anything to use, to wear, to cook with, to, anything. And the renter's insurance policy will help cover their contents. And I will tell you, a lot of times you might be thinking, well, I don't have much. Well, even if you don't have much, and a lot of times a lot of renters will say that, well, I don't have much, so I wish someone would break in and take my stuff because they can have it, right? Well, that may be, cute to say, but a lot of times if you truly have nothing except the clothes on your back and maybe the groceries that are in your car, that's not a great feeling. And you don't want to have to worry about them having to rely on the Red Cross or, anything like that, if they truly don't have anything. So a lot of times renter's insurance will also not only help them cover with loss of use, but also with their contents and any loss of contents, right? But there's one other real important reason that you should consider, not just because of, helping protect them. And again, maybe they're not even aware that such protections exist, but also that if something happens that is maybe their fault, that a claim could be subrogated where their insurance helps cover damages that were actually due to their negligence. So let me give you an example. Let's say they fall asleep with a candle burning, and it ends up starting a fire, and it's because of their negligence that this fire happened. What could happen? I'm not saying this is where it's outside of my realm of expertise, but from what I understand, your insurance company can subrogate or attach to their policy where you're not even having to where it doesn't really hold against you on your insurance policy, right? It's not a claim that's held against you. It's held against their policy, right? So up to at least a certain point, or at least to the liability amount in their policy, which helps save you a little bit on a claim on your policy, and you might have to cover the difference, especially if it's a really, really big claim. But that's important, and I think that would be important for you to understand how insurance companies will often try to attach to another policy. So if there's insurance person out there that's watching this, of my 3 followers, tell me if I'm off base here, but I'm pretty sure that's how subrogation works. So that's why it's really, really important for you, to not only help protect residents, and let's just face it, I mean, renters insurance, for a while, my bride and I, we're renters. We don't live in a property that we own just yet. I mean, I own a bunch of property, but we actually are renters, and I have a renter's insurance policy, and it is ungodly cheap. It's really, really cheap. I think the most expensive part of it is because I have, some guns. But that's unless Joe Biden wins the election, and then in that case, I don't have any guns. They were lost in a voting accident. So yeah, a voting accident. I said that right. So, all I'm saying is that if you are a renter, or if you know someone that's a renter, make sure that they're protected with that. And also, if you are a landlord, it would be a really good idea for you to make sure that they have a renter's insurance policy and you are listed as additional insured. That way, if the policy lapses, you get notified and you can let them know, hey, by the way, your policy lapsed. You need to make sure that you have this policy in place. So that is subrogation. All right. Are you guys ready for it? The most ridiculous item of the day. Here we go.
So ridiculous.
Yes, it is so incredibly ridiculous. So we scoured the internet for the most ridiculous item of the day, and it didn't take very long for us to find this, but it is truly, this is something special. So if you can take a look at the photo, you might be wondering what in God's name you're actually looking at. Yes, that's a toilet with a bucket filled with pine sol, mothballs, and a charcoal brick. And you might be might be questioning, what the hell am I looking at? Well, if you stand outside the unit, you can pretty much hear the ocean because they have 5 fans going. Because, follow me here, apparently spirits, assuming evil spirits, are entering and exiting this person's bathroom exhaust, and they smell really bad. So the solution, apparently somewhere on Google, he found this, that if you mix a lethal dose of mothballs, pine sol, and charcoal, that will help keep them away. I'm not really sure how I'm not even sure what the metric in terms of lethality is, but evidently that's a thing. So that is the most ridiculous item of the day. And that's today's show. That's all I have for today. And I hope you enjoyed today's show. And if you are a real estate person, I would happily take any feedback on this because, I don't always get it right, but I'm pretty sure that that's how subrogation works. Anyway, please make sure that you're placing a value on your free time, because if you don't, someone else will. But most important, there is no amount of money that will make time irrelevant. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Take good care.